time I need glasses. So,
Okay.
all right, give me a second, please. We're gonna start with the live streaming on YouTube. So in case you want to review the lesson, then you can watch it again in our YouTube channel. And okay, we're gonna start with today's classes. Okay, so we stopped on Monday and we've seen present perfect and indefinite past. Is it okay?
No, the last class are future. Will and be going to.
Okay, be going to?
Yeah.
Oh, future. Oh, we already seen models of advice, should and not to, right?
No, future. Will and be going to. It's only.
It was the last lesson of the model. Oh my God. I opened my Coke. So you told, well, on Monday we've seen for future, will and be going to, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the last week we've seen models of advice and present perfect and indefinite past. So we already finished the model, right? I'm gonna assign you the homework at the end of the class. In front of you, I'm gonna share my screen with you and then. So we're gonna start with A3, right? In this new model, in this new A, we're gonna call like that. We're gonna see present, perfect, and simple past. Models of ability, can or be able to, and possessive pronouns. Today we're going to start with present and perfect, present perfect and simple past. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. Once you can see it, please let me know.
Okay.
Okay, great. So oh my goodness, today was not my day. I opened my Coke, right, and it exploded. Okay. Okay, I suppose it's good. Okay. Well, we're gonna
Kind of funny because technically it's our day.
Yes, that's so terrible. I guess the only part of the day was that a girl, right, nearby a girl, I was at the street and she gave me a flower and a chocolate and I was like, oh my goodness, thank you. So
oh, that's so cute.
Yes, the streets were so full, right?
Yeah.
I guess it was a parade of girls and it was full. Did you work there or not?
Worker. No. Today, no.
Oh, if you were at this parade.
At this what?
At marcha?
Ah, okay, parade. Okay. No. I want, but I'm not sure if it's the kind of event that I want to participate because I thought that it's a really hard to be in this kind of place because it's really hard to hear what was the histories of the girls. I saw a little part of the parade in in the university. I think that it was the concentration place, but I'm not sure. I didn't participate in this kind of parades.
Yes, I guess we have to know, right? It was a protest, right?
Yeah.
So I think the same as you think, totally. Because I think that I can't participate if I really don't know of course I know how is this problem, but I really don't know the history, right?
Yeah.
So for that reason, I guess it's not gonna be, or it's not moral, right? It's not ethic from my part if I assist there. So I don't know. I don't know. So of course, this girl have my my help and then my support, but I can't be part of it, right? I can't. I just really can't. But I know that the situation in the country and then it's a big word. I don't know. Something that I saw today, right? It was too much discussion about these girls, and I was sure I went to El Seibo, right?
Okay.
Buy some chocolate. So there, I found some old people, right? And they said, no, it's terrible. These girls, they're terrible. They don't know what are they just in that place, and it's terrible. So I don't know. What is your final opinion about it?
Mm, I think that there is some girls that are so a little aggressive. I don't know if you saw the histories of a little Instagrammer of La Paz, I think, that it's Lu and something, and she said and protest about that there is some kind of leaders of the parade that said, "Oh no, you don't have to march with your I don't know how to say, with your husband." Oh yeah, this is the word, with your husband. And then she has trade a bad trade with the men. So it's a little kind of funny that if you march for a kind of equality, for a kind of trade, the husband and the men in general don't have to be in the parade.
Yes, I agree with it, right? More than that, I guess, well, I've seen it a little bit, right? I saw until they were maybe at 25 de Mayo Street, right, Avenue,
Okay.
and Arenas Avenue, right? And it was difficult because then when I go there to El Seibo, I've seen the police cars, and then everything was terrible, right? Everything was dirty, and I don't know. In my opinion, I guess I'm not a feminist, right? I support to these girls, but not to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some girls that I guess they're radical feminists, right? So everything in extreme is terrible, right? They are so extremist.
Okay.
So I guess yes, that we have some girls that are extremists, but I don't know. I totally I totally support it, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's difficult. But I couldn't be part of it because I really don't know how it works. The only thing that I know is that if you want to make maybe if you, for example, how is this called? If you want to um how is this place called?
Participate.
Oh no, if you want to report the bad trait you got from your husband, from your boyfriend to
Okay.
this lead, it's terrible. The other day I went to my neighbor, right? So I tell her I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna indicate where is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she couldn't be accepted, so it was terrible, right? So it's it's everything is about political story, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of this. The main reason of the parade, it's good. The main idea is really good, but and the context of all of this, it's yeah, it's good too. But there is some I don't know, black things inside that you didn't see. As you said, it's for example, the political goal and the two feminist goal, and this kind of things you really dude about this. It's kind, there is some questions that I have to answer it before I participate in and and give my time and take my time to participate in this.
Yes, yes, I guess there is a problem. There we have the problem because I really support them, right? And also I totally disagree, right, with these guys. And I saw many comments. You're gonna look for it, please, if you want to see more about it, if you want to understand a little bit better what I'm talking about. I saw in the newspaper, right? Well, no, it was not a newspaper. It is L'Opinion, I guess it is called.
Okay.
And they published on Facebook the statue that we have in the stadium, right?
Okay.
And there were a lot of people, they were criticizing this way of protest, right?
Mhm.
But I said, but people that support to this soccer team, Wilstermann, right? They also do that, and nobody says nothing, right? So I guess yes, there is a kind of discrimination, right? So it's a big word. I don't know really how to say, but the important thing is that we support, right? We support them, and we support the idea of this protest. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any opinion that maybe you have?
The part of kind of discrimination, I think yes, but I think too that there is some that, for example, the parade probably isn't the solution. Uh, for example, I don't know. There is more criticize about this than probably helpful. So probably if it's gonna share the histories more, there is some share, but not really, not really big. To share more the histories and to I don't know, to share the conscious of what is happened in, for example, Bolivia, and for
Mhm.
example, or the numbers. I don't know. I think the social media is it's really helpful, and it's really powerful to do these kind of things, because there is some news that there is a really new, because they don't it don't share in, for example, newspaper or something like that, but it's more viral. So I don't know. I don't know really what is the solution, but I think probably parade it isn't the solution to really inside the people or the population in Cochabamba or in Bolivia. It's a hard topic to yeah, it's a hard topic to give a solution and to talk. Yeah, there is more. There is, I don't know how to say this, but it should be more conscious on the people and the population, and to probably construct in the base of this that there is more equality. It should have more equality. It should have more, I don't know, more respectful for the women's, and to really, I probably the laws, if probably the laws increase with the people that hurt women, um I think probably the, I don't know how to say, what is the word of miedo?
Is care?
Okay, yeah, the scare is the way. I don't know if you know about the president of, I don't remember what is the country, but it's a president young that increased the laws of any kind of penalties, and add some, I don't know how to say, what is the word of impuestos?
What do you want to say? Sorry?
Impuestos.
Oh, taxes?
What is?
Taxes?
Taxes, okay, and increase the taxes for the rios, and it was a good way because um mm, he made that the scaring it was the way, and the people and the population of this country um had more conscious, or they realized that there is some things that they shouldn't do, and for example the rate of delinquents it down, and these kind of things really decrease. So probably the scare is the way to increase the
Yeah.
laws, to increase the penalty, to increase the years of the people that do this. Yeah, this is the solution. I
Yes,
think.
I guess it's in Salvador, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's Salvador.
I don't remember his name of this president, but yes, I saw it. And it is cool because I didn't think about that, right? Maybe people, especially, well, these people, right, are gonna feel are gonna be scared, right? So this care by itself
Mhm.
are gonna it's gonna intimidate those who want to make a criminal or want to do something criminal, and then right. So yes, I guess could be a great solution. Take the example of this country, but we have to change the politicians there, right? We have to change the president, the government. Then everything is terrible. Everything is there. So yes, I totally agree with your opinion, right? So I hope it happens one day. So
Yeah.
thank you for your opinion. Thank you for sharing your opinion. It was cool to know that we think in the same way. Now we're gonna continue with the lesson, right?
Okay.
We're gonna talk about present perfect and simple past. So let's listen the out.
Hi, I'm a grammar coach. I've been a grammar coach for 8 years. That means I started doing this kind of work 8 years ago. I've been is the present perfect. I started is the simple past. Have you learned the difference between these two forms? Let's look at them.
Okay, let's talk about this. Um, okay, we're gonna talk about the present perfect. This is a time tense, right? We are gonna focus on the timeline. We have a timeline, we have the past, we have now, and we have the future. So with that, we're gonna listen the first out.
We use the present perfect to talk about something that started in the past and continues to the present.
Talia has been a researcher for 3 years.
This means that Talia started her job as a researcher 3 years ago, and she is still a researcher. We use for to express the length of time.
I've been here for 5 hours.
We use since to say when something started.
I've been here since 8 o'clock.
I've been here since my boss arrived.
Okay, so we're gonna use the present perfect time tense to talk about something that is started in the past and continues to the present. Talia has been a researcher for 3 years, right? Okay. We have the past. The action is started at some point in the past, and it continues to the present, or it has a relevance in the present. For example, Talia has been a researcher, okay, for 3 years. For this time, we have a time phrase for 3 years. So it helps me to identify about how much time are we talking. So this means that Talia started her job as a researcher 3 years ago, and she's still a researcher, right? Okay. What else? Sorry. Okay. So we're gonna continue with this last part. We have for 3 years. We're gonna use for to express the length of time. Okay, the period of time. For example, I've been here for 5 hours. So it means that I started in the past 5 hours ago, and now I'm still there. And we have another one. If you want to say when something is started, we're gonna use since. I've been here since 8. I've been here since my boss arrived. Okay, so notice that we're using by to show maybe at what time something is started, what your activity is started, right? So again, for is to give the length of the time for 5 hours, for 6 years, for 3 years, for 2 weeks. And if I want to be a little bit more precise, a little more exact, I'm gonna use since. I've been here since 8. I've been here since my boss arrived. By boss arrived. So is there any question maybe?
For this, for this part, for example, Talia has been a researcher for 3 years. It is necessary, or it should be, to add the length of time. For example, if I write Talia has been a researcher, it is good in grammatically, or you
Yes,
have
there is.
to express the length of time that has been and that has been started.
There is no problem on it. If you want, you can say it, or if you don't want it, it's okay. There is no problem if you don't use it, but we actually use it, right? No está
Yeah.
mal, gramáticamente está bien, pero si es el presente perfecto, mayormente siempre utilizamos el periodo de tiempo. If it's not the period of the time, if it's not the length of time, we're gonna use since, maybe, right? Since I was a child, since I was younger, for example. Okay, so it's not necessary, but we do it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so okay, let's continue with the next part. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna find the second point. It's the simple past. We already know how to use it, but let's listen.
We use the simple past to talk about something that happened in the past and is finished.
Talia was in the same English class with Nick for 2 semesters.
This means that Talia is not in the same class with Nick now. The class is finished.
Okay. Before to continue, another characteristic of the present perfect, we also use the present perfect for completed events. For example, I've written the politics essay, but I already finished. Okay. Otra característica del presente perfecto es que utilizamos cuando ya hemos acabado alguna acción. I've written the politics essay. So it is a completed event, okay? If I'm gonna say I've been writing the politics essay, that's an ongoing activity. It means that I'm still writing it, okay?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Okay.
For
It's
example,
the difference between present perfect, present. What is the other? What is the other?
present perfect continuous.
Okay. Present perfect continuous.
Another difference, because it's very easy to get confused in this part, right? So the present perfect, we almost all the time we use it to conjugate with the simple past tense, right? You're gonna see in that moment. We have some slides there. But I'm talking about present perfect and present perfect continuous, right? So if you want to say that you were doing something but you already stopped, you already finished, I mean, you're gonna use the present perfect. I've written the politics essay. So that's a completed event. If
Okay.
you're gonna say I've been writing the politics essay, that's an ongoing activity. So I'm still writing. That's the difference, right? So if I'm gonna say I have thought, notice I'm using the present perfect. I've thought about buying a laptop. So it suggests that I'm not thinking about it anymore, right? I was thinking, but I already stopped. I'm not thinking on it anymore. I've thought about buying a laptop. That was maybe a suggestion that I have, and I was like, I think that I could buy a laptop, but I'm not sure. But then I just don't need a laptop, right? Because now we have presential classes. So I'm gonna say that I'm not thinking about it anymore, right? But if I'm gonna say I've been thinking about buying a new laptop for a while, but I haven't decided which one to get. We're gonna focus this on the action of thinking over
Yeah.
a period of up to now. That's a big difference. Do you
Okay.
get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so take care in that part because it's very easy to
It's very easy
get.
to confuse.
Yes. So we're gonna continue. Okay, we're gonna continue with this second point with the simple past. So we already listened. So we're gonna use the simple past to talk about something that happened in the past and is finished. Talia was in the same English class with Nick for 2 semesters. This means that Talia, okay, we already know how to use the simple past for something that happened and finished. But the difference may be that it was not for a length of time, right? This is only the basic use in the simple past. So Talia was in the same English class with Nick for 2 semesters. I'm using for it though, but the activity finished, right? So we can use the past to show past event for sure. To show what else can we say? To describe an activity that just happened and that's all. There is no relevance in the present. In the contrary, the present perfect would have a relevance in the present. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's continue. We already know how to use the simple past, so we're gonna continue with the third point.
We can also use the present perfect to talk about something that happened in the indefinite past. We learned about this in Unit A2.
Talia has investigated other scandals.
Remember, we do not use time expressions with the present perfect for the indefinite past.
Okay. I don't know if you remember, we've seen a little bit of this point in the last lesson. we can also use the present perfect to talk about something that happened in the indefinite past, and these solve your questions, right? At the beginning, you asked me if it was necessary to write for 2 years or to write the length of time, okay?
Okay.
So I told you that yes, you can. So if you want, right? If we have, in other words, an indefinite past for many reasons, or maybe no, for 2 reasons. I mean, if you don't want to mention it, or if you don't remember, we can also say the sentence as it is, right? Without the length of time or without the specific time that we want to express. I mean, without since, without for. So remember, we do not use time expressions with the present perfect for indefinite past. So it's the same, right? So last year it's the
Time
the time,
expression.
right? So it's incorrect. Instead of it, I could say it's okay if you're gonna use for or since. If you're not, it's better if you omit it. Okay?
But I'm not sure to realize what is the main contrast, because okay, in present perfect, indefinite past, you have the structure of present perfect. We said that Talia has investigated other scandals, but we don't say we shouldn't say Talia has investigated other scandals last year. But in the other point, there is some, it's optional that you, no, in the first point, it's optional that in present perfect, you don't have to use the time expression. But I think that in this way you have to use, because if you use, it's only present perfect, and the action or the event or the event, it's present now. But if you don't use, it's mean more a present perfect indefinite past, because it's done, it's finished.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna show you the difference. In what case the punctual question is if what is the or what's going on with this point, if we've seen in the last point, sorry, in the first point that we can't. The difference is the how are you going to introduce? If you want to use a time expression, right? You need to be sure if it goes with the context. If it's the case, you want to give the length of time for 3 years, for 4 years, for 3 weeks. So then the point here is the use of for, right? So you're introducing your time expression with for, or to say, to be more exact, you are using since, okay? If that's the case, I mean, if you want to use the expression of time, you only can do it with one, the length of time, for, and when something is started, since, that's all. In the contrary, on the other hand, we don't say Talia has investigated or scandals last year. If you're gonna say last year, maybe if we're gonna write for the scandal for last year, it's incorrect. It doesn't go with the context. For last year, no, it's incorrect, right? So could be for the latest year, maybe that goes with the context, okay? But if you don't use for the length of time or since to show when the activity started, it's incorrect. Instead of it, I'm gonna use another time tense. What tense? Simple past. Tal investigated other scandals last year, and that's all. So the difference is the use of for and since, and more than that, the context. Okay, For example, if I really want to show, I really want to express when an activity started or the length of time that about the activity, I'm gonna use for. If it goes with the context, okay, do it. Since if it goes with the context, you can use it. But in this case, if I'm gonna say for last year, it's incorrect because it doesn't go with the context. How about since? Talia has investigated other scandals since last year, okay? If I want to use since last year, I'm gonna say, or I want to express, I want to show you that I'm still on it, okay?
Yeah.
So we have to take care in that part. That's the difference. I don't know if you get it.
I get it that okay, in one present perfect and the other present perfect, you should use the time expression, and the other you shouldn't use the time expression, right? And it's important the context to structure what is the meaning, the real meaning in the sentence. But I am not realized, or I'm not get it. How can you really express it, or if the context is the really unique way to express if the action is done or the action is continued now, because it's the same structure. So for example, Italia has investigated other scandals since 90. Okay, but I think that it's the context too, but it's the unique way to express if it's done or if it's still happen.
You mean you're making the difference between the present perfect and the simple past, or with
No.
what?
The present perfect and present perfect indefinite past, because present perfect indefinite past, the meaning is that the action is done, or no?
Okay, not really, not really. If we've seen the indefinite past, it was because or we don't want to mention it or we don't know, right? So we have this present perfect, right? And it's similar to this, but if you're gonna use a present perfect and then you want to show the exact moment that it happens, then you have to use for and since, right? So answering to your question, you can use both, but it depends on the context. If you don't know, or if you don't want to mention it, then you don't have to write for and since. That's the only difference, right? So then if you want, you have the option to use for instance, but as you said, it depends, or it's up to the context to express what you really want to express. But both present perfect and indefinite past and present perfect simple are the same. The use of both of these, the structure is the same for sure. The usage is the same. The only difference if you want to show the expression, the time expression or not. That's the only difference. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. So present perfect indefinite past is the meaning is still that the action is going on now. So for example, Talia has investigated other scandals. Talia is investigated now. So it happened now?
No, it's not happening now, right? Because for both, don't forget, for the present perfect indefinite past, we can say, as we don't mention the time expression, we really don't know if the activity ended. Okay, so if you want to express that the activity or the event has already finished, sorry, then you have to use expression time. Okay, but if you don't use it for indefinite past, just omit it. Okay, because the activity, we want to express that the activity could be No, it's not. It's finished, right? It's finished because we're not mentioning the time tense. Do you
Okay.
get it?
Yeah, it 100% that finished, right?
Yes,
Okay.
right.
But it's the same, I think. And
Yes, well, to tell the truth, I'm asking now, why do we have two lessons like that? We can only, well, as I, I don't know, maybe that could be my content. I guess I would write these two lessons in one, right?
yeah,
So the only thing, the new thing that maybe we're looking now is the use of foreign scenes, right?
yeah.
So yes, I'm not, I don't know what's going on. Why do we have to separate lessons? And this is the first time that it's happened to me, right? Nobody asked me about this question, right? It's the first time that one of my students remembered the indefinite past, because they actually take as if it's only one, and it's only one, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But is there any question maybe?
No, it's a kind of I 100% get it, the difference, because I think, or I thought that it's the same, but I understand the present perfect and present perfect indefinite past.
Yes, the use is the same, right?
Yeah,
So the only thing that
time
we
expression.
could say is the use of the time expression, right? In both cases, right? We can say that in the present perfect simple as we have, could say that the activity finished, right? Just now could be, right? Or it was recently. For the other one, we only have to omit the time expression if we really don't know. But the usage is the same. Don't forget, the present perfect tells us that an action is started in the past and could happen, or could happen, could is still happening right now, or it is something that happens regularly, right?
Okay.
So we may need more information to tell us how long it has been going on. For that reason, we have the time expressions. It may also tell us that the time, the period time, no, the time period, right? It started and is still going on. Okay. So for the simple past, we know that, for example, the sun rose at 6 a.m., for example. So in this case, we're using the simple past. We know that the sun came up at that time in the past, and it is not rising now. Okay, so the sun may or may not be in the sky when this statement is made, for example, right? So we have to do many things when we want to use a time tense. It's important to recognize the context. More than everything, the first thing that you have to identify is the context, no more. And then once you recognize what could be your context, if it's already finished or then, you have to take an option. You have to take a decision of what time tense use. What time tense are you gonna use? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is there any question maybe?
No, it's good.
Okay, so all right, let's continue with point number 4. Oh, it's the last one.
We use the simple past to talk about something that happened at a specific time in the past.
Nick came here from England about 10 years ago.
We often use time expressions with the simple past.
The conversation took place several months ago.
Talia got to the office at 8 o'clock.
Amy went to a party last week.
Okay, let's finish with this last point. Okay, so we're gonna use a simple past to talk about something that happened at a specific time in the past. Nick came here from England about 10 years ago, and we often use some expressions with the simple past. This is very common in simple past, right? Creo que en la mayoría del tiempo utilizamos some expressions with the simple past, right? So we're gonna use the simple past. For example, we have Nick came here from England about 10 years ago. The conversation took place several months ago, right? Talia got to the office at 8 and we went to a party last week. As you've seen, it's a little bit more precise to use it, right? So what else can we say? Okay, could be maybe for the difference, right? We're gonna make a summarize with the what's the difference between the present perfect and simple past. The first thing is that the present perfect, right? It's an finished action, right? Could be that started in the past and continued to the present. And then the simple past is to express a finished action. Okay, I've known Julie for 10 years, so and I still know her, right? I knew. I'm using the simple past. Give me a second. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So I knew. Yes, it was great. I knew Julie. For 2 years. Okay, what do you think could be the difference between these two sentences?
Okay, I think it's probably the meaning. For example, I've known the Julie for 10 years sounds like I still knowing, so I still recognize the person of Julie. And I knew Julie for 10 years. It's probably to more, I don't know, more close in the meaning of you don't know really much now. So it
Yes.
sounds more past that it's close. And I've known Julie for 10 years sounds more like I still know and we are some good friends. I don't know how to express this, but it sounds like that.
Yes, I've known Julie for 10 years, right? But I still know her. I knew Julie for 10 years, simple past, but then she moved away and we lost touch, right? I don't know what's going on with Julie. I only saw her maybe, and then as she moved away, right now she lives in another country, I guess, because I don't know anything about Julie. But that's the difference, right? I still know her, present perfect, and that's a finished action. I didn't have the opportunity to know her again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What else can we say? Okay. All right. My brother, what's going on? My brother has, no, has been to Mexico And I'm gonna say my brother. Okay. My grandma went to Mexico. Now, okay. Do you get the context?
My brother has been to Mexico 3 times. My grandma went to Mexico 3 times. My brother has been to Mexico 3 times. My grandma went to Mexico 3 times. My grandma went to Mexico 3 times. It's a little close, but it's not clear for me. So my grandma went to Mexico 3 times. It really sounds like and she visited us 3 times in Mexico, and she isn't here in Mexico. So in my brother has been to Mexico 3 times sounds, I don't know how to express, but sounds different, but not really a big difference. I'm not sure. I'm about the second sentence, but not the first sentence. What is
Okay.
the difference or the main difference?
Okay. So the first one, my brother has been to Mexico 3 times. We're talking about a finished action in someone's life. Okay. My brother has been to Mexico 3 times. When the person is still alive, we're talking about life experience. Okay. Again, we're using this structure, the present perfect. This is a finished action. In both cases, right, we are referring about finished actions, right? So we have the same time expression, but the difference, and it's gonna sound a little bit not weird, but another use of this same tense in order to understand the context. This is a finished action in someone's life, okay? So in this case, he finished, and the brother, right? Well, my brother, right? He's talking about life experience. My grandma went to Mexico. Notice that I changed the subject. Why? The other use of, if we're gonna use a simple past instead of present perfect, I'm referring to a finished action in someone's life, but when the person is dead, okay? So in the first one is like a life experience when someone is alive. The second one could be life experience, but when the person is dead, okay? So this is a common mistake, and we sometimes take the other a time tense that it's not. So we have to take care, but both are for finished actions, okay?
But
In
it
some,
doesn't make sense, Miss. So
sorry.
if we are talking about a finished action, it's discording about the the meaning that the book said, because we are already talking about that the present perfect is for events that is still going on now, and if it's finished, probably the other probability it's that the present perfect it's for indefinite past, but it's a time expression. There is a time expression, so it shouldn't. So why the first sentence is finished?
Well, in this case, we're not talking about the length of the time, right? We're talking about experience. Okay, we're talking about a life experience. So, but in this case, it's about someone else. Okay, so the focus is not in the time. Okay, so just look at the rest of the structure, because two actions and then something else. And you mentioned, if I'm gonna use this first structure, it means that the action finished, but may continue in the future, right? So my brother, I don't know, he has been to Mexico 3 times, right? But then maybe in 1 week, in 2 weeks, he's gonna come back there. But in this one, no, the person is gonna not come back. So it is understood, right? As maybe as a life experience, but it's not gonna happen anymore. Okay, so that's the big difference. If we're gonna use the present perfect, in those cases the action is finished. Okay, en las dos oraciones la acción ya ha terminado. My brother has been to Mexico. Okay, he's now in Cochabamba. But my grandma went to Mexico. Okay, we could have another situation for it, but the point here is that the two actions are finished. But what is the difference? The second one, my grandma is not gonna come back to Mexico. The first one, my brother is going to come back to Mexico. Okay, that's the second use of the present perfect. I don't know if you get it.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, so if you're going to use the present perfect, y claro, se puede utilizar también el presente perfecto para hablar de esas acciones que ya han terminado, porque te das cuenta, tenemos la misma expresión de tiempo, right? Pero ¿cuál es la diferencia? Si voy a utilizar el presente perfecto, lo más probable es que mi hermano vuelva a viajar a México. Tal vez en 2 semanas, porque él siempre trabaja, él siempre viaja, entonces va a volver a México la próxima semana, lo más seguro, right? En la segunda opción ya no se puede, ¿ok? Entonces, si por algún motivo le van a quitar la visa a mi hermano, entonces diré, my brother went to Mexico 3 times. So it means that he's not going to come back because he doesn't have his passport. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Thanks,
So we
Miss.
have two usage more, right? But we're gonna continue not tomorrow, on Friday, right?
Yeah, on Friday. But one question more, please, about the time expressions. For example, in this sentence, Nick came here from England about 10 years ago. When you're say about, it's an approximation about the time, so it's not exact, so it's not really 10 years ago, it's approximately to 10 years ago. Or
Yes,
it's
could
an
be.
expression to say that it's 10 years ago.
You know what is the difference? It's not too much, right? It's almost the same, right? But if you really know the time, right? If you really want to, because 10 years, it's the time, right? It is exact. But if you want to be more precise than that, for example, if I'm gonna say, I was there at about 10, right? So it means that I was, maybe, I don't remember if it was at 10 and 10, 45, 10:55, right? I really don't remember. But if I want to be more precise, instead of using about, I'm gonna use in. I was there, or at, sorry, if it's an at 8:35 a.m. In this case, I said in because I thought it was the sentence. So I'm gonna say I came here from England in 10 years ago in May. For example, I'm gonna meet 10 years ago and I'm gonna directly say the exact time, the precise time, right? So about is like approximately, right? Almost there, almost near. And if you want to be more precise, then you can, if it's about time, you can use that. With years or months, you can use in. Okay, but
Okay.
answering to your question? Yes.
And
Look at
it's the same for several.
Do you want to, I don't get it. Do you want to emphasize or how? The conversation took place several months ago. No,
Yeah.
it's only an approximately, right?
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not,
it's like about, right? It's
yes,
yeah,
so,
similar.
right, the conversation took place about several months ago. Several
Okay.
months ago. Esto no está siendo tan preciso como lo es about, right? Pero igual se puede utilizar, no hay ningún problema. Pero si quieres ser más precisa, que es lo que generalmente se hace con el simple past, puedes utilizar las preposiciones at, in, or in some cases on, right? Only if you want to sound more precise, if you really remember the date and then, but if you don't, or maybe it's an approximately, you have the option to use about.
Okay.
For example, you're saying you really, Talia got to the office at 8. Really precise, right? Amy went to a party last week. So I'm not mentioning the day, but I know it was last week. What day? I really don't remember. Okay. But if I remember, I'm gonna say on Monday, for example. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. Thanks, Miss.
All right, don't worry. So we need to see, well, we actually finished the lesson, but I'm gonna show you on Friday the 2 other usage that we have for the simple present, simple past and present perfect, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so as it is time, we're gonna stop until this part. I launched the daily food. Once you can fill it, let me know.
Okay, I send it.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna see you on Friday. We're gonna continue with this lesson, okay?
Okay. Thanks, Miss.
All right. Don't worry, Rosario. Have a great night, and I'm gonna see you on Friday.
Okay, good night. Have a rest day.